Nice track. It's from Nectolin. So, and you, I guess, on YouTube, or Nectolin on YouTube. I don't remember. But yeah, very crisp, very clear track. I like it. You can just have it like playing while you're taking a walk on the street. Very comfortable to listen to while you're ruminating, as I am going to be in this stream, in this Saturday morning stream. Uh, and even though I call it morning, it's probably just morning for me. Not even for the rest of the people in Greece, I guess, at this time. But whatever. When you wake up mentally, that's when it's morning for me. Um, I was I was intending to maybe try Fear 3 for a bit, and I had some other ideas, but in the end I decided like I just want to chat a little bit, I guess. Or not even chat, because chat would imply that like I'm being talked to or talked with. But like, nah, that's not gonna happen, and you know it and I know it. So it's basically me monologuing, and you, as always, doing what you do best, being a very good fucking therapist, because you're listening. And I'm gonna take advantage of that. It's fair enough, you know. That's how the cookie crumbled, and I'm gonna take it. Though to be honest, I had like to be honest, I had like a moment yesterday when I was thinking like, you know what? Maybe I should just fucking stop streaming. Maybe I should fucking stop like posting on YouTube. Maybe I should just generally just stop at this point. Um, and it was the result of a kind of slide that I took. Um, and it's weird because sometimes you just it begins with a little thought, and that little thought kind of expands, and it gets you to eventually it leads down to being like, oh my god, why am I existing? What is life? And you can't answer it readily in the moment, and you're like, okay, you know what, that's it, that this is it, I have to do something about it. And then you start thinking like, oh, I should delete this, and I should like remake that and all that. And then what ends up happening is basically you pluck your eyebrows right, and it feels good, and then you're Gucci. And then you decide to stream about one of the things that brought you into that state, right? And this is it. That's it. So that perfectly describes what this stream is gonna be about. So yeah, and one of the things that like kind of got me distressed, let's say, um, was the whole issue of parasocial dating, right? And I just thought, hey, you know what? I plucked my eyebrows, and that felt really good, and I can show you the results as well. And I will. But in a moment, first, I need to finish like this glorious intro, which is going unexpectedly well for an intro of mine, right? So yeah, I thought, you know what? I gotta like talk about the whole femboy thing from my perspective, from the perspective of a person, and this is the context I'm gonna give you. Basically, this is me giving you um, a nice little disclaimer before I go on. So I've been like on various um, slopes when it comes to my views on parasocial dating, right? And obviously, I can only speak about what interests me as someone who is into parasocial dating. Um, Despite already having a partner, I'm polyamorous, so obviously, I'm always just enjoying the process, the flirt and the romance and everything. And you know what? I'm also enjoying very much the potential friendships that come from that, right? And sometimes um, a new potential good friend is reward enough. I'm not gonna lie. To the point where lately I'm like, yeah, maybe that's actually the greater reward. And it feels fulfilling to like connect, regardless of where the connection is gonna go. It feels good. Anyway, the context is that like I've dipped into some kind of it comes and goes. Like my mood for dating kind of comes and goes, right? Especially when it comes to not real life, where in real life it's like you don't have to really think about it. At least I don't. It just happens. Except it doesn't, because my situation is like, unless I am at my peak physical condition, I'm not gonna, you know, go out there. It's like this is my goal. My resolution is like to lose those last 10 kilos that I have to lose, which by the way, holy fuck, they're persistent. But I'm not working out as well anymore. Like I just couldn't keep it up. I tried my best, but like no. The 10ish 10 plus definitely years of working out so fucking consistently and for like 40 minutes every second day, just I don't know, it just got to me at this point, not in terms of physical but like more emotional. Like I don't want this anymore. I don't want it. It paid off, yeah, for sure, it paid off, and it could get me out of my situation pretty much faster than just taking care of what goes down my throat. But I just can't do it. I've done it too much. I've done it way too much, Sorry, I'm sniffling a bit, but it's just the weather. I mean, you can see it's like 8 degrees and it's like, it's been raining all night and yeah, I don't know. It probably got to me, sniffles. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, so yeah, anyway, that's as far as real life goes, which is not like what I'm going to discuss. I'm just like specifically going to discuss some of my thoughts on the whole thing with parasocial dating on MMOs, specifically in Final Fantasy, because that's where you're gonna be doing most of it outside of VR chat, that is, and the occasional fringe niche, dating focused quote unquote MMO, which some of them exist. And this is the context basically of me just like, it's more like a Dear Diary thing, right? Where I'm gonna be like, I saw that, and in that I just, it made me think this and that, and it made me feel this and that, and this is the kind of format this is gonna have, right? It's not meant to be a debate, if that's what you're expecting. It's not meant to be like an analysis. It's not going to be, or I'll try not to let it be, but my thoughts might veer towards that at one point, and I can't control it because I just want to say what's on my mind, I guess. But yeah, I'm not trying to make a tutorial on like dating. I'm not trying to make like anything like that, or to make anything along the lines of how to date a hot femboy, like, or something like that. It's nothing like that, honestly. Like the context that I haven't provided so far is that like, yeah, this is going to be primarily my thoughts on, as far as dating people who present as femboys goes. And this, of course, is my experience, and obviously yours might vary. And again, this is not meant to be like a tutorial or a controversial like subject or anything. It's just like, seriously, it's in the title. It is literally in the title. I'm just like fucking thinking about it in a Dear Diary way, like this happened, made me think of that, that kind of thing. And I'm going to keep it focused. Here you were hoping for femboy pro tips. You know what? Do you want me to help you date a femboy, Neris? Do you need some help with that? I can help you if that's what you want. No, I'm just kidding, okay? I'm trying to pretend I'm jealous, okay? I'm sorry. Because it's fun. But like, yeah, Neris, for context, Neris is my 6 years partner. So you will see some banter like that, obviously. And we're both poly, and we both have, dated on the side. And we've even had like one or two situations where, we were both involved with the same person and all that. Just for context, so, so that you don't think that I'm like biting down or snapping at Neris, But yeah, and I mean we've talked about it quite a while as well. Quite a while? Wow. Many times, let's say, with Neris we've discussed like whatever we've deduced anyway about the subject of like parasocial dating. And I mean, with Neris it's like it started as that, but yeah, we do meet in real life and all that stuff, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm not here to discuss my relationship with Neris and being poly partners, but in a vacuum, I want to discuss rather what I said and like it's my diary. Okay, so it's not like Neris and I, our adventures with poly FemBois. Like it's not that thing. It's gonna be just like some observations, I guess. And feel free to discuss or disagree or I don't know, just whatever you want. I don't mind. I'm open to discussions, honestly. And I've said this before, and it doesn't help with anyone ever talking. But hey, it is what it is, right? Anyway, more context. I don't know if you know that, but I am like a trans woman, and yeah, that's it. I'm pansexual, I guess, or whatever else you want to call that. And when you just care about whether or not you're in love with someone or feeling like you could love them in such a way, obviously, always everything I'll say, and this needs to be said in 2024, okay? Everything I will say concerns partners that are legal and morally sound to have, yeah. And I won't comment further on that, and keep that in mind that whatever I will say concerns that, and I don't want to have anything to do with anything dating adjacent beyond the boundaries of what is legal or moral, okay? Yeah, so it's getting difficult to continue because like I don't have these things scripted, so I just literally have to pause and look up and go like, this is what I wanted to talk about. All night has been on my mind, but now that I'm here and now that I'm streaming, what the fuck did I want to say? And it's okay because it's Saturday. So on Saturday, basically what I do is just yap, like I'm doing right now. I'm just super yapping. That's it. So I don't really mind like stalling or just doing random stuff like what I'm doing now, where I'm deleting this icon out of nowhere. And yeah, so you're going to have to excuse some inconsistencies in pacing, and me not being so cohesive with what I'm talking about, and maybe even like just spreading out. Anyway, now you know what exactly to expect from this stream. And hey, if you missed the intro, well, it's not my problem, right? And if you're on YouTube and you skipped this intro because you're used to me making intros, well, that's also your problem. And I hope, I just only hope that you won't make any assumptions whose basis is like non-existent, and maybe it's something I've addressed in the intro. Anyway, whatever, you get it, right? So my issue is, right, FemBois, right? Okay, so to me, I've observed that like there is so much, like this term FemBoy is now used as a blanket term, and that can be quite, that can cause several several problems when it comes to like meeting someone, I've found, because I've seen everyone between just a regular dude in a basement, all the way up to full-blown trans person like myself, calling themselves a FemBois, and I think that's because it's trending. I guess it's hot. I guess I don't fucking know what's going on with that. I like the word far more than let's start with the basics. Like I love the word. The word itself is quite feminine. It sounds curvy and it sounds hot and it's gentle. I'll say there's nothing like rough about it. It definitely rolls on the tongue more than like cross dresser. Like what the fuck, cross dresser. Anyway, or what like gender bending like I don't know, all these terms are like so fucked up. I mean, femboy can be a good term, but at the same time it's come to as I said, like to cover so much that to me at least, with the very specific standards and criteria that I have and my very specific definition of that word, it's caused me like certain issues, let's say. To be fair, it was like there was this incident like very recently. Because mind you, I've been back in Final Fantasy for like 7 days, and when I say back, I want you to not imagine any gameplay content or otherwise. I'm just sitting there, flirting, teasing, watching, chilling, listening to music. That's what I'm doing, honestly. Um, and that's because I was provided with like a 2 months code, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let me just like see if I still enjoy at least the dating part. And deep down, secretly, I'm also like, there is still a chance that I will actually play this? Question mark. But it really just depends on the stuff I was talking about when it comes to Guild Wars 2 and how that shit is gonna progress. Because yeah, what like the TLDR of it was that like another couple of months of Guild Wars 2 just being a fucking asshole when it comes to its player base, where you can't really find consistent, reliable, active people who are just interested in the game genuinely and just are interested in making tight, connections to other gamers of the same interests and just like gaming together. These things just don't exist in Guild Wars. I'm not gonna lie, they don't exist in Guild Wars. It is so fucking annoying. In fact, recently I did like a cleanup of our guild's Discord and a cleanup of our roster, um, and we were like 18, 16, I don't remember, people who I did try to kind of like to filter and screen, and still half of these I had to fucking airlock out of there. I just had to airlock them. I just threw them out the airlock like immediately because it had been like weeks during which they had not like participated in anything, have not like said anything or done anything other than like being played by themselves essentially. And then he's saying it is funny how people suddenly become talkative once they've been flashed. Why did somebody become talkative after we fucking airlocked them? I don't think so. Nobody messaged me or anything, which is very, very nice. And I think also, to me at least, that can be attributed to forcing people through this screening process that I said, which does tell them we are going to be monitoring our roster actively, and we will be making changes to the roster based on like your participation, your activity, and we will be changing things around if we feel that you don't meet the requirements, you are going to probably get removed. We mention shit like that very um, politely, all right, but it's still there. And so I don't know, I think that it's because of that I didn't receive any fucking hate messages. Um, besides um, besides it's usually like players usually feel entitled when they're in a guild that they can leave without saying a word or discussing why, but you can't kick them without saying a word or discussing why, even if you've stated that you might do so if you feel they're not fitting for the group, right? So yeah, I think I'm gonna look into disabling ads. I'm not gonna lie. I feel I'm gonna look into disabling ads, but at the same time, I don't know how that's gonna impact me. I just really don't know how it's gonna impact me. I have to read up on it. Like, what happens when you disable ads? What's the difference with like having ads enabled? Is that something that pays me at the end of the month? Is that something that doesn't pay me? I think you can't, because it's the thing with Twitch. Yeah, you might have to subscribe to me or something to make them go away. I suspect. I don't know, and I'm not begging for subscriptions. I'm just saying, I think the mechanic is that like you subscribe and then you don't get them, right? Ads do give revenue. I see. Well, if they do give revenue, I might as well leave them as they are. Which is like, that was my plan. It was like, hey, I'm just gonna go and be a default player. I'll play on default settings. I'll stream on default. But the problem that actually annoys me is like, if you get hit by a 2 minutes ad, let's say, right? Do you actually miss everything that I do and say in those 2 minutes? Because then that is fucking outrageous. If that's the case, that's fucking outrageous, because you might, somebody might be invested in what is being said and then they get fucked by that. You miss it? Oh my god, that's so fucking dang. It puts the whole stream in a tiny screen without sound. Amazing, yeah, super amazing, cool. Anyway, so that was like this is a huge parenthesis, and I'm gonna be opening like huge parentheses everywhere because it's a Dear Diary stream again, as I said. So that one was about Guild Wars, and so the point was, if it keeps going on for another 2-3 months, I don't know if I have the strength to just stay there and actively play it, as opposed to like moving to some other game which might not even be Final Fantasy at this point. It might even be like World of Warcraft, who the fuck knows, right? Or might be nothing at all, by the way, and just like focusing on streaming like every day or something. Who the fuck knows what I'll do? But that's for a future me to deal with. We're not there yet, and I'm not burned out yet. So yeah, that's why I said it's a huge question mark in my head. Like, will I return to Final Fantasy or not? Question mark. I don't fucking know. It's just a vague thought right now. I have literally no reason to do so right now. Nothing entices me to go there other than perhaps being frustrated with Guild Wars, and that's it. Anyway, so that's the thing anyway. But to go back to the point, like the whole point of like FemBois and dating and parasocial dating, in fact. Yeah, the thing I wanted to actually say is that like I have such a hard time at this point by everyone saying they're a femboy. It literally seems to be not related to gender. You will hear people that are answering to she, her, or he, him, or they, them, and they will all state femboy. And again, like you can have like a freaking basement dweller, like unshaved, unwashed, like blob of flesh, and literally going by, yeah, I'm a femboy, all the way up to like a trans woman like myself saying, yeah, I'm a femboy. Which it makes things so confusing as someone who enjoys dating. Again, because I have like very set and strict criteria and and wants and needs, right? And the reality of it is that like my range of interest right now is basically how can I describe this like very informatively? It basically would range from planning to start on HRT and definitely identifying as she, her, all the way to being like myself, like a trans person, so a trans woman. That is, or trans man as well, potentially. But like, I like decisiveness, I like clarity and honesty, mostly to oneself, and to me, of course, about these things. And so it's been. Listen, I know there are femboys out there. There are people who are like that, yeah. But like, the vast majority of people are simply just not in that. They don't fit that description. Um, so it seems to me that the people who, like from my dating experience, right, at least recently, but also previously, those who adopt the femboy thingy the most and hope to get away, free with it, um, are basically just very young males, adult males, obviously, who are very isolated to the point where nobody would even know what they are because they never see them leave their house. Okay. Um, who are, well, I guess a little bit gay, which is not bad. It's actually good, but like that's the description, so I'm going to use that. They're a little bit gay, but they also seem to have a certain degree of, and this word is strange for me to say in English, and I might say it wrong because it's similar in Greek, but like saying it in English sounds weird to me. But like they probably do have some streaks of autogenophilia. So essentially, autogynophilia, I think. Yeah, okay, I might have said it correctly. Where basically you fetishize and objectify yourself as a woman by dressing up, right? Not necessarily full drag, but it can extend to that, though it's not necessarily always correlated. Just to be clear here, and finding sexual pleasure or satisfying some of your other kinks through that as a basis, right? And it can extend a little bit to the emotional and mental, where um, they might dress up or act it in order to garner some affection, which comes more naturally um, from such a situation, I guess, to them. And that's like the most, by far the most common scenario I've seen. Um, and essentially we're talking about just feminine, so being feminine, right, having certain feminine characteristics, right, doesn't mean that you identify as that gender. By the way, you might strongly identify as male, but you might have some feminine features, you know um, there's various combinations of this. So usually what happens is, again, like it's just basically some and I know I sound very condescending when I say this, especially because I use the word some, but like, no, it's usually that's just how it is. I'm sorry, but it's usually somebody who has fetishized themselves, the idea of themselves as a female, uh, and act it out, you know, and that's usually just a young adult male gay person, or at least bi or bi curious, or any other combination that allows them um, affords them the flexibility to entertain like thoughts of being with someone who will act male with them. Um, it's also often, not often, wait, in some cases, it's not often. Such people are also going to be, I say such people and I again sound condescending, but like, listen, English is not my primary, so just take what I'm saying softly, okay? Because my intention is not to hurt anyone, obviously. Um, so let's cut it short. if they suspect that they might be in a situation where they might find a female partner, right? They will immediately revert to their male self, let's say, and forget their fetish fantasies of being feminized or, adored as a female figure. And I say figure not as in a bodily shape, but as in a more holistic kind of way. And then that can cause a lot of hurt as well to the person who was initially interested. In general, this whole thing can in fact cause a lot of emotional distress, and that is why in the end I caved in and I became a little bit of a proponent of early into the conversation, using my natural charisma, of course, which I have an abundance of. I throw in there, I wedge in there the dreaded question of like, so what are you really? Who am I speaking with, really? Because, I like chocolate. You sound like chocolate, but are you chocolate though? Because that's what I'm looking for, and that's my prerogative at the end of the day. And never forget that, that it is your prerogative to have your own personal tastes and to politely just probe and see what you're dealing with before your silly little mind starts playing games on you. And it's a very difficult moment, and it is quite disarming, especially for the person, because it pops their little bubble of it completely raises their autogynophilia mode, because they're like, oh shit, now I have to admit something here, don't I? And it can suck for them, and it can suck for you, but like, there's nothing wrong with like anything of what I'm saying. You're free to fetishize whatever the fuck you want, and you are free to act on your fantasies any way you want, as long as they're, again, I'll say this one last time, within the boundaries of moral and legal. So I'm not saying like, oh, this is how you catch femboys unprepared, or something like that, or this is how you spite them, or this is how you make them uncomfortable. It's not that. It's like, it's just a little necessary moment where you both have to come out honest, and you have to be like, are you really what you're saying you are? Because I'm looking for that. Essentially, this is the message you're putting across, right? And it's a message that's important to convey without like hurting or otherwise being insensitive, to one another. But nevertheless, it's a moment that has to come sooner rather than later, because otherwise, well, if you fall easily like I do, and if you love easily, if you just it can be an issue, which is not necessarily the other person's issue. It might be your issue. It might be just to protect yourself, I guess. And so for that reason, I mean, no matter how you spin it, bringing it up sooner rather than later is actually very desirable, And it saves everybody time, and it saves everyone dignity, and also it shows honesty. I don't see anything wrong with it personally, just going like, okay, what, all of this is fine. We've had like an hour of like chit chat, which has been highly enjoyable, and I've thoroughly enjoyed flirting you regardless of what the fuck you are. And it's been an amazing time, but like, I need this to be like the curtain fall, because like, I am actually looking to perhaps form a romantic relationship, and this is when literally things just become clear, and it's like, yeah, okay, in reality, like the worst I've had in this, which don't think that it's not traumatizing to me as well. And it's not that the other person, I don't consider the other person, oh, they're a trap or a goldfish or something. No, it's literally just that, what, they sometimes, I assume also in the moment they do entertain the idea of like, oh damn, that person does make me feel like I would be this 24/7, I would do that with them, And that's fair enough. And I've had a person before express that, and I was like, okay, fair game. That's fair game. That's actually fair game. Uh, but usually what happens is like they start like peeling themselves like onions, where it's like, well, I'm totally like me, she, here all the time, except when like this and that, and and also I don't really own any like articles of clothing of the opposite gender, and I don't, just, and also it's usually they them with a sprinkle of he him as well, like when I can't help it. And that's also especially because like I don't really have any feminine characteristics, and that might be because I don't even desire to have them, and that might be because it's just a game, and you're like, bro, are you fucking serious right now? Are you fucking serious right now? And you can't help it, you get hurt, you're like, so you have been leading me on a little bit, right? Haven't you? Like, if it is such a jarring, if there is so much dissonance, right, then you can't help but feel like it's unfair. It's like, why didn't you like say so? And sometimes they'll tell you, for example, what I've encountered is like, oh, it's because I only do in character, and you're like, yeah, but I stated that I don't, though. Which is another thing that you should always like be on the lookout if you're into dating. You have to be honest with yourself and decide whether or not it's you're talking about, or whether or not you're seeking a partner for your character, which to me that is unthinkable, but to some people, hey, whatever rocks your boat, whatever is your escapism flavor, none of my fucking business. But like, yeah, at that point, like when I've stated five to six things, right, and I've been specific, and the other person like literally buckles for all of them one after the other, down to the point where it's literally I discover it's my fucking neighbor Bob in his basement. Like at that point you do feel kind of bad, you're like, well, what's the matter then, and I think I'll tell you what I find dishonest, in my opinion, especially considering I clarify. So, especially if you clarify these things, I find them dishonest. Maybe if you didn't, part of the blame lies with you. I'm sorry to say, but if you did, then what I find dishonest is like when the other person tells you, "I don't care about my pronouns." Yeah, you say you don't care, but you expect me to see you as a certain type of creature, right? A male or a female person, a human, right? I say creature like candidly, obviously. I don't mean creature. You fucking anyway. So how can you say how can your last line of defense be, oh, I was in character, or like it is so childish, or like especially when you can see by the conversation that the other person isn't really in character, they're actually trying to get to know you, and they do tell you in my case, or like I don't really care about pronouns. Like no, you do though. First of all, you do. Second of all, everyone else also does, because it's like vanilla telling you, I don't care if I'm vanilla or chocolate. So you shouldn't care, so just eat me. Darling, I'm not gonna fucking touch you. Like if you don't know yourself, I'm not gonna fucking touch you. And sometimes it's worse because you know how they them is a gender, legitimately? Right. So some people will use that, like the same people who would say, "Oh, I don't care about gender," but not in a pansexual way, like myself, but like in the way of like, "Oh, who cares about that? Just throw it out the window. Let's not talk about it." Like it is so sassy, and so when people just use they them in the same manner, not only does it fucking feel like misappropriation of a pronoun, which is honestly just I don't like that. I'm not okay with that. All right. I love how I keep saying "all right, mate," and like a fucking Australian sometimes. But whatever. I'll have to stop doing it. But it also gives me the idea that you are clueless or that you're trying to play all the fucking tables, right? Just because you're a greedy little slut. That's why basically. And you don't want to squander an opportunity. You want to keep it open, and you're going like, oh, let me just stay on the fence on everything. Let me just fucking stay on the fence like a queen on everything. You can't believe your favorite Australian streamer is Greek. Oh god. What's next? Will I just do like some short fighting videos like Shadiversity? Man, what happened to Shadiversity is so fucking... It's such a shame. It is such a shame, honestly. He was one of the coolest short guys. What happened to him? Why is he now some kind of like conservative fucking political freak who is losing like his friends and alienating strangers and whatever else that movie was called? I don't know. Why, Shad? Couldn't you just stay a short guy? Just stay a short guy for as long as you can, and then I don't know, just stop afterwards or do something else. And then he wrote those books that like every review of those books I've read, and every analysis and like readings of them, of parts of them. My God, they're fucking just bad. Anyway, God, you know, Shadiversity is like indefensible. He's indefensible at this point. Whatever. He's just a lol cow. Anyway, just too bad because I enjoyed like his early videos were like pretty mint, honestly. But whatever. Nah, it's dead now. Back to FemBois and my dating adventures and vaping. So that's why I'm gonna take a pause now a bit. Like my criteria of what a femboy is, right? And keep in mind, I grew up in the 90s, 80s. Okay, I'm 43. So and you know, before I would call myself trans, I would call myself a crossdresser, which is literally what I feel personally femboy is. So you're mostly out of the closet, all right, or if not fully, all right, mate. I have to fucking stop. All right. Fuck off with that. Okay, so brain, behave. So, you're mostly, if not fully, out of the closet. You are using a female name. Um, you are working towards legalizing it, changing your papers, whatever you need to do, your identity correction. Um, you may or may not intend for HRT, and may or may not intend for like the full, you know, process. Those two don't matter that much as long as you intend to be living your life and enjoying yourself as the female gender, right? With the potential, of course, you know, kinky little switch here and there. You know how it is. Some spice, some, you know, you gotta enjoy all those options, right? And that's basic, and you know, and you basically just you attire yourself. Your dress code is of an appropriately matching style. We put it that way, okay. And to me, what a femboy isn't is literally alright, is literally. I'm sorry, I had to. It's literally what people call femboys now, which basically it's your neighbor Jim, and your neighbor Jim will tell you I don't care about gender, and they'll tell you I don't care about sexuality. All I care about is that like I put on a COVID mask with an anime print on it, and then I wear thigh highs, and like I just copy Fortnite dances, and then you wanna fuck me because of that. Or my favorite little sentence, like there is nothing wrong with helping the gang with their blue balls. Yeah, there's lots of wrong with that. The way you're doing it, just you know, just that's not being a femboy. That's literally fetishizing female clothing, and then using it to like to turn on your mates, basically. And more power to those mates, by the way. I would also go for it. no doubt about it. So I'm not like being condescending here. I'm just explaining. Um, and then you're arousing your mates to the point, the gang as you would call it, to the point where they kind of like treat you like the slut that you want to be, in your fantasy bubble, because you don't actually um, you know embody that in any other capacity than taking a dick. All right, to be fair. So yeah, yeah, and that to me is not being a femboy. Uh, it's that to me would be just, again, probably some streak of autogenophilia or fetishization of being female, or being treated as a female when you're not, which is very different than your sexual or gender identity and your orientation. It can be as shallow as just simply a fetish and nothing else. Like literally a fetish. Um, as shallow as liking to be told that you're a slut by your wife, even though you have no streaks of femininity whatsoever, but you just like find that very kinky, it is on those levels, so that to me, yeah. And if honestly, if that's actually what femboy is, then I have to say that I really don't want to date that. I'm sorry, for many reasons, honestly, because I find it like very ephemeral. Is that the word? When it just doesn't last and it's kind of shallow and it's kind of whimsical and it's all that. I find it unreliable emotionally as well. I feel it's like a little box of trauma waiting to happen for you, and usually not the femboy. All right. I fucking can't. And you know what's the worst? Shad does this all the time. I remember now. He always goes like, these swords, they're not really the best swords, all right? And yeah, I can't make an impersonation, but you get what I'm saying. Like these I'm turning into Shad. The astralification of streamers. The carcinification of our Lord Jesus. Anyway, shut up. Okay, shut the fuck up. Wait, let me stream. So, okay, what was I saying? So if that's what femboy is, I have to tell you, it's overrated and fucking toxic. I'm sorry. And I would much rather, like, what would you call, like, if that's femboy, right? What do you call, alright? Nice slap of enjoyment. Alright, no, but if that's femboy, right? What do you call somebody who is stating or presenting she, her, and they do dress, they're out of the closet and they do dress as they feel, and they do like being addressed as such, and they do have like a certain clarity and the direction that they're taking with this. Like, what do you call that then? Pre-HRT trans, like that. And maybe in the end that's why people just use femboy for everything. Fair enough, I guess. In retrospect, I suppose that's fair enough. Because, yeah. And why not? You want a little bit of that glare. You want a little bit of that buzz, the word, it's femboy. I'm a femboy, I am that too, Yeah, you want some of that, don't you? So, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, in that case, if I am seeding that, like, yeah, I guess I can see why it's used so widely. I would say there shouldn't be upper limits, but there should be like definitely lower limits. And I think nobody unsure of their gender or just fucking around or fetishizing, I don't think like any of those people should be called femboys. I think these people are just like kinky gay people. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry, and nothing else. And that's okay. You don't have to be anything else. You can just be that, and that's wonderful. And honestly, I mean it. But you're not a femboy. You're just like literally just a an effeminate gay person who just, you know, or bi or anything that contains the possibility of like fucking with a male, I guess, you know, natural born male or whatever other male, and that's basically it. And you just like the feel of nylons on your feet, on your legs, I guess, or thigh highs, you know. That's more power to you. I love that too, you know. High five. But I think that should be beyond the lower limit of like what you could describe as a femboy. I think the lowest it could go, and when I say lowest, it sounds condescending again, of course, but I don't mean it in a like. Let's use another word, not the lowest, but like the simplest. There we go. There's nothing wrong with being simple. Being simple is nice. So I would think that like the simplest you could go with like calling yourself a femboy would be, you know, out of the closet and identifying yourself as like female, because let's not kid ourselves, and possibly, you know, willing to go to get out, to come out of the closet, right, and willing to explore in that direction, and with no uncertainty, uncertainty in the style of oh, you know, who cares about gender? Like, no, darling, like we do care. Trust me, everyone cares. So yeah, I think anything simpler than that at this point is taking the word femboy and just throwing out the fucking garbage. Because you, at that point, you don't even care what it means. You just want to be called that because it turns some people on or gives them hope, I guess, in your mind, of fucking you. And that to me is, that's just not cool. That's not cool with me. I'm sorry. I don't know. And you know, we're talking about me here. Again, everything I've said, every single thing I've said right now, it's not meant to be gospel, all right? It's my take on things. My subjective, you know, ever changing in some cases or to some degrees, views on the subject as someone who had to endure the simplest of cases where you could call someone or allow someone to be called a femboy. That's a state. It's the Dear Diary, you know, I've told you before. So you can feel free to completely have your own set of standards and criteria, but seeing as this is my stream, I'm going by what I, you know, decide for myself. And I'm just letting you know, I'm just sharing that. I'm not trying to push it on you. I'm not trying to tell you what's correct and what's not, but to me at least, that's the case, all right? And you can do you, boo, and I won't mind, you know, we don't have to fight about it. There is another kind of, I mean, I've seen that case, right? And that's just one case, right? That annoys me. And now I've talked about it extensively, and we can just like turn the leaf and go into another case where it's like the fucking overly enthusiastic, I have to reach e-girl levels kind of femboy. But who in reality can flip a switch and suddenly they're like a different personality. My God, I fucking hate that. I fucking hate encountering this in the wilds. And they'll send you these like super cute pictures, and they'll have like this super cute makeup, and they'll be like, you're like, are you like an OnlyFans moderator? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then mood switch, and nope, it's Bob, and there's not gonna be any makeup, and there's not gonna be any this and that. And you might say now, like, why do you focus on the makeup? No, why do they focus on the makeup? Like that's my point. Like I'm just going by what I see, what I'm presented with, and what I'm informed about. Right, so when you then pull that like a rug under my feet, of course I'm gonna question you. Like, why were you doing it in the first place? If that fucking shithole is gonna have like an on and off button, I'm not game. Sorry, I'm not gonna fucking play with you. Because that's also an emotional disaster waiting to happen, and it has happened to me, right? You date this kind of like monstrously fucking beautiful e-girl kind of femboy, and then they just decide it's way too much. I can't, it's way too much. I need a break. I need to be gym for a bit, and you're like, dude, that shit is approaching fucking bipolar levels. And what if I also want to date Jim at the end of the date? Day, sorry, not date. What if I want to date Jim too? What if I like you as a person? What then? And they go like, oh, no, no, no. That is like, that's no, no. Because Jim like is straight. And you're like, bro, are you okay? Are you fucking okay, dude? Like, are you really okay? Like, what the fuck? And this is also the problem that I have. Like, one of the problems I have with drag, like one of the complications of drag is that as well, but I don't want to talk about drag right now because personally I myself am quite against drag, and I think it also is completely unrelated to gender or sexuality, and also that is part of why I hate it as well. But anyway, whatever, I don't hate the people who do it, I hate what they're doing. Okay, a big difference there. Okay, I don't personally hate anyone who haven't given me reason to. So this needs to be, said. This needs to be stated out loud. I don't hate drag queens. I hate drag in general because of certain things. But I don't want to talk about that right now. Perhaps at another date. I've touched on the subject before, but I never expanded fully, I guess, on it. So maybe at one point, one Saturday, I'll do exactly that. But right now, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, this split between the feminine side and the male side is like, what is that? At least let me enjoy both. At least be the same person. And you can dress however the fuck you want, but be the same person. But they're not. And that's because they've enclosed their femininity in this like completely different drawer in their mind, and they just like open it and close it whenever the fuck they want, and you got no say in the situation, and this is it. And you're like, then what's the difference of like just what's the difference of like me picking up a pair of thigh highs, putting them on, and then jerking off to my legs or to my friends' legs as I put on them the thigh highs while they're sleeping? What's the difference then? It's like, it's crazy. So that too is like a situation which I really just absolutely fucking bail out of. I'm like, nah. And you can tell who's gonna be like that very easily, because it's usually the more flamboyant, overconfident, over social, super cutesy, XOXO woo kind of person who are in a constant state of self-celebration of being a femboy or whatever else they want to say they are. And I'm like, no, cutie, just no, okay? Just no. In fact, there is a cosplayer who is very often featured, and yes, I do look them up, I'm sorry, but like, I'm a weak girl, okay? I'm a weak girl who knows what she wants. I'm sorry. But there are like compilations of like femboy TikToks, right? And I will be watching them sometimes, and there's always this one cosplayer who just absolutely dominates them, and that guy gives me the chilling vibe of like exactly what I just described. And even though the effort that he puts into his cosplays is amazing, and the results are amazing. They're like, whoa, quality wise, jealous, absolutely. But he does give off those vibes of like, no, Tuesdays I'm a Lara or whatever, random name by the way, because I don't remember the name. But like from 10 to 2 on Mondays, I'm actually Billy. And on Fridays, I have some Billy time, and like he has like this kind of vibe, and he also has this vibe of like, even though he appears very happy in his videos, and I hope that he is, and that he remains happy doing what he wants, but he has this like underlying kind of glimpse of just let me be a disheveled dude in a basement. No? Okay, here's your cosplay. Flip. And just turns into a pretty princess. And I don't know. On one hand, I'm turned on the other hand, I'm like really turned off. And that's why I don't think I would date a person like that until they convinced me that they're actually fucking their mental structure is sound, like their emotions and their feelings are structurally sound. Unless they convince me of that, I would. I do not think so. I do not think so. I don't know. I don't know. It's complicated, okay? But I wouldn't touch that. So that's another case which I've stumbled on, and I'm like, nope, just no. And I'm actively like looking to just not, go into that. Plus, of course, the whole thing with cosplaying, right? As a parenthesis, I did say I will make lots of parentheses on that one. I'm always wary of cosplaying because somebody can always hit you with a, oh, I cosplay, doesn't mean I feel it. But it can, and that's fair enough. Obviously, that's fair enough, and then that is absolutely acceptable. When it's not acceptable is when they do flirt through their cosplayed characters, but then have this switch again of like, okay, no, I was just cosplaying. Like, it feels like there is a safety net there, waiting to be abused. And so, yeah, Anyway, be that as it may, I feel like these were the. Unless I'm forgetting something, which I might very well be. Sorry, the poses are me vaping, by the way. I just like vaping. Fuck off. What the fuck? Let me vape. So, either way, as I was saying, there are, these and some other cases are cases of like FemBois being misused, misappropriated, in my opinion. And I'm tired of it because that's sadly the majority of the situations you're gonna encounter in at least Final Fantasy, at least recently, but also previously, according to my experience at least. And it's either that or I have like a horrible RNG, but I don't think so because I do talk with other people who are into the dating scene, and they do seem to have like similar experiences. Um, I mean, just the other night there was this elf girl who was like being all pretty and cutesy, and then they decide we want to talk on voice or whatever, and I'm like, sure, because I find that like honest. And like the person who answered was the most Australian of French people ever. Like zero, zero of that. Like the guy was born and bred in France, sorry. Was French 100%, never left France, studied in France, blah 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 blah, all of that, and he had the most Australian accent to the point where I literally just I couldn't. It was weird. It was a weird sensation. Like, how are you French? How the fuck are you French? You can't be French, but he was. Anyway, the point was that like it was this like grumpy sounding dude who was like hello, and I'm like, the Australification of femboys is another epidemic. Shut the fuck up, please. No, I don't want to laugh about this. I'll laugh later about this. You're stupid. All right, so God damn you, Neris. I'm smiling too much. um, but yeah, and it's like I don't know. I feel there's too much dissonance to take it like as honest. I'm talking about how people use the term femboy for themselves. By the way, and also I hate one other thing I hate seeing. Right, another thing I hate seeing. Both sides of it, in fact, and you'll know what I mean in a bit. It's like when you, for some reason, inspire into them. Like, for example, right? Let's say that I approach someone and they're this like cutesy little thing, and they're going like, oh, whoa, whoa, you're so cute, and blah blah, and oh, meow meow and whatever, and they for some reason pick up that you are actually yourself quite feminine whenever you want to be, whenever you feel inspired to be, or in your neutral state, depending on how you're like, on how powerfully you're exuding it, obviously. And suddenly, boom, switch. Okay, I'm the male now, bitch. And like, and you're like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened there? And I like a little bit of sweets, as I said. I like that stuff. I like some spice in it, depending on the person, always, and on the situation. But like this sort of sweets sometimes can be done, or can be done in such a way or have such a timing, that it's for all the wrong reasons at the worst possible time. And it makes you feel like the person is totally just acting, because it's not a smooth switch. It's like they picked something up, and how I said before that like some of them would immediately just abandon their self fetishization, their feminine self image fetishization. They would just abandon it and go like, oh no, me no, dude, I'm from the streets, homie. And you're like, bro, what happened? What the fuck happened? You found me to be cuter than you, and you immediately go like, well, all right, girl, let's go, girl. And you're like, shut the fuck up and sit down, bitch. Before I make you call me mommy, Jesus Christ, sit the fuck down. And it's jarring, it's fucking jarring to me. All right. I'm sorry, I had to. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's like, it's weird to me. I hate that type. I don't really like that type. I had one of those yesterday, and so this is hilarious. I'm gonna describe you. I'm gonna fucking describe this to you. All right, so ages ago, right? So there was this person. I don't care to name. So here's something that you need to know about me, right? In my streams, I don't name and shame, right? Naming and shaming is very specific. I do name though, but it's not to shame. It's to share an experience that actually happened from my lens, through my lens, from my perspective. And being open about being corrected on it or being informed of the other side, if possible, right? And I'm not begrudging the person, but I'm rather sharing the experience because it's a good laugh, and that's how I have it in my mind. Okay? Because life is not worth much if you can't just remember things candidly sometimes, and have a laugh about them. And that's my view on the subject, and I've expressed it before, but I feel like I need to say it because I will name the person, but it's not to shame them. And honestly, they might not even be the same person anymore. People change, people grow up, they mature, we mature, but that moment in time is in my head as it is. All right, and that's what I'm sharing. Okay, it's not to do with like wanting to hate the person or wanting you to fucking hate the person or whatever, but rather to have a laugh with them, if possible, if not possible, with the situation, but never laugh, at the expense of the person, right? And I feel like I need to make that clear once more, I guess. And so there you have it. So there was this cat called Senaril, right, in Final Fantasy. And I don't remember the last name because it was kind of convoluted letters, and it doesn't matter. And then so that person, so we had a fling, we had a kind of thing for a bit. It was nice, like to me it was nice because initially at first it was nice, like the first like couple of hours, because the person exuded the kind um, of 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 like dom side which you don't really often see, and it's a side that I do crave sometimes, and it's very difficult to find people who provide it, because most of the times people just want me to be dom with them actually, whether or not I feel like it in the moment. um, and I think it has to do with like perceiving me as a dommy mommy, as a goth dommy mommy, which, Jesus Christ, sometimes for fun I just call myself that, but like literally it's so fucking disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. Like just, you know, if you want to turn me off, if you want to have a laugh, call me that. If you want to turn me on, don't ever speak that out loud, ever. Uh, you're gonna get fucking cancelled immediately, sorry. So yeah, it was refreshing, um, and I went with it, and the person ended up like hurting me so much, emotionally, hurting me so much. Like the person managed to make me feel like I'm treated like garbage, in and out of context, out of like BDSM, top, bottom, switch, sub, dom, whatever way you want to call it, but rather in a person to person way, right? Which I ain't fucking with that, you know, I'm not fucking with that. And so I was like, hey, you got one opportunity to fix it. That opportunity is tonight. You either fucking fix it or not. And they were like, yeah, sure, I will fix it. And they didn't fix it. And it was horrible. And it was like a really horrible evening. And I was hurt. And I was like, hey, I'm dropping you. You suck. See ya. And I left, right? I left them too. And I just, you know, they started asking about me. Like, I think there was some kind of drama there. I think they started saying something about me to some people, and these people like informed me like, hey, why is that person asking about you? I think it was actually Kat that came to me and said like, why is that person fucking saying that you're their submissive little, you know, camsock or whatever. And I'm like, what? We're not like, I don't even talk to the person anymore, Kat. And it was a whole thing, you know. I think it happened on stream actually, which was pretty funny. And anyway, that's the person for context. And so yesterday, right, I'm sitting there, just literally minding my fucking business. And I'll tell you what that business was, by the way, because that's fun in and on itself. But there pops in Senaril out of nowhere, right? And goes like, you know, can I have your code? Okay. And I'm like, you don't remember me, do you? And she's like, did I hurt you? And I'm like, it's water under the bridge. Don't worry about it. And the immediate response was like, okay, can I have your code? If you know what I'm talking about, okay? And I'm like, what? Wow. Like, what the fuck? And throughout the conversation, because the conversation kept going, because the person started asking me, like, I don't think they remember me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they remember me. Not really. Because they were asking me stuff that we obviously talked before back then, like, are you poly? Are you mono? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? Stuff like that. So, you know, the conversation just kind of went, and I was like, I was answering mostly like, yes, no, that's true, that's not true, you know, that's what I think, you know, that kind of thing, while I was talking with actual friends of mine. To the point where I found it a little bit like, can't you read the room? Like, I don't really want to talk to you. Like, I'm not really interested in talking to you. I don't hate you, but like, just leave, please. Like, it's awkward, okay? And let me ban this fucker. 1 second. It's a bot, of course, so it's not really anybody, but you know. Oh, you banned them. Okay, cool. Thank you, Nerys. Yeah, it is bug. I was wondering because you already knew that. I already knew that. You demonstrated your powers. So I was wondering why you didn't ban the person. So I wanted to ban them myself. But now you did it, so we're good. For gore, it's okay. I was just curious. And so, here's how that is relevant to what I was saying, right? It's because that person was again trying to come off as dominant. They were telling me, "Oh, I'm a tomboy. I'm all like as if I fucking care. I don't even care, bitch. Sit down. Like, are you fucking trying to sell me like some kind of roughness? I'll fucking school you in roughness." Anyway, at the moment that I started like biting back by being like more established in my limits and more like strict and just facing her off with like austerity, let's say, she kind of like sweetened up and like immediately went to this like do you find my face cute? And I'm like, bitch, no. No, I actually said, yeah, it's a cute face, whatever. And she was like, oh, do you prefer this one or that one? And I'm like, were you selling me the whole fucking tomboy just a moment ago? But just because I kind of become a little bit rougher, you just instantly go like, ooh. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And second of all, it's awkward anyways, because like you treated me like I was a piece of shit. What the fuck? Just go have a nice evening, please. Like far away from me. Jesus. Anyway, and so what I was doing, what I was actually doing, was that there is this there is this like weird kid. Okay, that's the only way I can describe this person. This is a weird kid, and when I say kid, don't worry. Again, within legal limits and moral limits, it's an expression. Fuck you, kid. That kind of expression. Okay, so a weird kid. And that guy walks up to me, and he has done so like a couple of times, but this one was the weirdest ever, where they go like hi or whatever. I think they opened with a joke that I wasn't aware of, so it was kind of weird. Um, and this person is called Bright Owl, by the way. So it's a nice name. It's a very nice name, like Bright Owl. It's a nice name. Anyway, and they hit me with that, and they're like, well, this and that, all Gucci, time with my family, Xmas, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really celebrate, but I hope you're having a blast and, it's awesome and blah, blah. And being friendly and all that, right? And then they hit me with like, I'm an incel. And I'm like, okay, that's not a really good self-advertisement. But okay, yeah, sure, okay. And we kind of have this discussion of, about incels, and I'm like, what am I even doing with my time at this point? Even though it was an interesting, like, thematically, I guess it was like a legitimate conversation. Like, I didn't hate it, but it was very, very, like, irrelevant with my mood and with, like, just being there in the moment. But I still roll with it, and I'll always pick a good conversation if it's like actually good. If my fellow conversationists are interesting, I'll go with it. And so I did. And then after a bit of discussion on like involuntarily celibate or whatever incel stands for, they hit me with, well, the thing is, I'm Volcel, and I'm like, what the fuck is Volcel? And turns out Volcel, if it even is a thing, but I guess to them it was like voluntarily celibate. Like I choose it. I'm like, all right, that's a big leap from involuntarily. I know it's just two letters at the start, but like the meaning completely changes. You know that. And I'm like, okay, you do you. I myself am a person of my pleasures, right? I enjoy my pleasures. I enjoy a good flirt. I enjoy you know, a tumultuous romance. I just, I like that shit. I like my pleasures, and I like my joy, my little joys of life, wherever I can get them, in the form of like cat girls and femboys and cat boys and fem girls or whatever else have you. Like anything is good, and and Neris as well. Neris is his own category, which I love, and nobody can be in that category. It's a very separate category. It's the Neris League of Neris. But no, for real, like, to me, ideally, to me, all my partners should be in their own like league, at the top of their game. As conceited as that sounds, that's the kind of partners I want. I don't want any clash between my partners or any overlap. I don't like that, and I don't like hierarchy. I just think, they should be kings and queens at their own thing. Crop of the cream or cream of the crop or whatever the fuck you call that in their category, in the slot that I want them to fill for myself, right? In my heart and all that. Anyway, back to the point. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I do like my pleasures, and the person goes like, me too. And I'm like, but you just said, you literally just said, Bright Owl, you just said that you're like voluntarily celibate. And then the person goes, Bright Owl goes like, I don't know, I'm just a pack of atoms. Goodbye now, I'm gonna raid. What? Dude, like, honestly, what's wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with people? I can't understand anyone. Jesus, like, what is wrong with people? Anyway, and just fucking fucks off to Narnia. That's it. Just leaves, goes to Narnia. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, I guess. Good shit. Good talk. And then there was this other person, I don't remember their name. They come to me and they go like, hey, I dig the Kiss makeup and the expensive shirt. And I'm like, that's not Kiss makeup. I don't even listen to Kiss. And the top I'm wearing is like super cheap. It's on the market board. And the person goes like, it's still very expensive. It's like 300k gil. Fucking gil. What are you? Are you a fish? It's called gold, you motherfucking Yoshi. It's gold, you fucker. It's never gonna be gil for me. Fuck you and your fucking gills, you fish. Anyway, 300k gold. And I'm like, that's not expensive. Because I saw that they were a Sprout, right? And I was like, okay, maybe to them it's expensive. And I'm like, don't worry. Before you know it, I didn't want to say sooner or later you're gonna be a courtesan at the club, like printing money out of your ass literally by using said ass. I was more polite and I said, soon it will appear like nothing to you. and the person was like, oh, I already have like 13 mil. I'm like, okay, so wait a second. So if you have 13 million gold, right? Alright. Fuck. Alright, so if you have 13 million gold and you're a Sprout, let us not dwell on how that money was made. Okay? Because maybe my time estimations were off and the whole courtesan thing might happen a bit sooner. But hey, they may also have crafted something and sold it. It doesn't matter. Let's not dwell on that. Let's dwell on the fact that they do have 13 million gold. Fucking Yoshi. How is 300k expensive? And then there is this other person. So I'm going to give you the context of that other person, okay? So that other person is Fio Lefebvre. Okay, Fio Lefebvre. Whatever, fucking moron. All right, so that guy, fuck you, dude. So that guy, okay. Here's our story with that guy. I was, so he and someone else, like a presentable cat girl of sorts, they were having a conversation, and me being me, I jumped in because I was like, hey, the more the merrier. But I jumped in, all right, and I did so with such fucking fervor and strength and like charm and like intelligence and all the other like defining values of mine, all right, the least of my defining values of mine, I should say. I jumped in and I, you know, for lack of better terms, I start winning the other person over, which means that Theo felt, I guess, outplayed. So first, get wrecked, bitch, because that happened passively, and it's just that you're unlikable, and of course the person would rather converse with me and suck my fucking ass. And I say that because honestly, Theo is just really just a nasty person, honestly, and you know, trust me, they're not really a good person, in my opinion. And what ended up happening was like, for some reason, it went to showing each other's house to each other. And we went to mine, and I showed them mine, both of them. We went to the cat girl's place, and you know, she showed us her place. And then we went to Theo's place, and that's where Theo started berating me to elevate his position in the eyes of the cat girl, I guess, which was kind of weird. And at one point, it went to calling me like some kind of something along the lines of like, "Oh, you're just a puny subby that just wants to be top," or is some weird fucking shamanistic shit, some Final Fantasy summon cult fucking BDSM shit. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. Like, this conversation is souring up. I just, you know what? Keep the cat girl. I wasn't here for that anyways. I just wanted to flirt a little, man. I don't give a shit. Okay, keep the fucking cat girl. I'm out of here. I'm not in the mood to be insulted or tell you why you're wrong and to what degree you're wrong. Like, it was obvious to me that like you can't have a good conversation with that person. Also, the cat girl herself later messaged me, like DM'd me, like, you left me with that creep and they're trying to ERP me now and they're like being very persistent and they're stalking my socials. And I'm like, well, yeah, I never saw that coming. And that's the story. And I never spoke to Theo again, except for yesterday, years after. Where, you know, he noticed me there, just sitting there, and goes like, oh damn, Ictis is back. And I'm like, well, calling it back would be an overstatement, you know, alluding to the fact that I don't know if I want to be there. And so Theo goes like, good, because like, you know, blah blah something, whatever mean thing. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, what's your problem? Like, the fuck, like, what's going on? And he starts like he starts like going at me, you know. And I'm like, you know what, I've been away for a while, and I heard they kind of improved their block lists, like their system with blocking people, and I'm thinking I want to try it with you, you know, because you're fucking unlikable as fuck. And Theo goes like, go on then, you'll be doing us both a favor. Bitch, how would I be doing you a favor? If I block you, you can still hear me. Are you fucking stupid? Are you that fucking stupid? Like, for real? Anyway, I blocked her because, like, my god, that person is just a fucking idiot. So, and from what I heard afterwards, because I did ask around and I was like, you know, I talked to people and at one or other point I was like, by the way, you know, or they would say like, by the way, what was that with Theo over there? You know, because that happened in public, and I would be like, I don't fucking know. The person just came at me. And a couple of people agreed that like, or informed me that like generally not really a lot of people like her or him rather, because they are just like so fucking passive aggressive and like mean as fuck for no reason to everyone. So I was like, yeah, okay, great. Great to see that like socializing in Final Fantasy is just fucking quirky as ever. Let's call it quirky, shall we? Because like I don't want to sour it up for you. You can go out there and experience it yourself. Oh my god. Poor you if you do. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's more. I encountered even more people. Um, but I'm not gonna go into it too much. But yeah, it was an evening yesterday full of conversations. Two of which were actually pretty legit. Um, and also one of them was had with a friend that I made like just the other day, and I really appreciate that person. And it did start as a romance, but it was one of those cases that I mentioned where I quickly go on to say like, hey, at the end of the day, what are you? Because if this is going to be romantic, I need to know. And the person told me they weren't up to my liking, and I said, okay, well, we don't have to not talk because I do enjoy your company. And boom, we just fucking clicked, and ever since we talk and we hang out and we like support each other because, the person is having a rough time. And it's fucking great, it's fucking great. And I just spent some time with them, like discussing some, the intricacies of fucking family relations and other stuff like that, and finding your independence and like other stuff like that, and it was pretty nice. And the other conversation was with Kat, and I hadn't seen Kat for weeks, and I thought Kat fucking I don't know, just completely gave up on me. But no, it turns out Kat was involved in some shit, and it didn't turn out well. Some dating related shit, and it didn't turn out well, and whatever. But now we're talking, so that's interesting. And we exchanged news, and we kind of like we hanged out a bit, and it was pretty fun. Um, and that's good, One more person who I like talking to. So there's at least that, As I said in the beginning, finding people and making bonds like that, even if you don't end up dating, is pretty nice, in my opinion. Could actually be a big W, honestly. Bigger than like what are you gonna do? Like fuck once or twice and then hurt each other and then that's it. Worst case scenario, obviously, because there can be good case scenarios. You know, I would never deny that. But the possibility is like very small. Um, and for some accursed reason, sadly, it seems like lately it's it's a period of hurt. It seems a phase of like pain and anger and like anguish and torment, apparently, because everyone around me seems to be going through some kind of relationship drama or flirt drama or whatever that goes completely wrong and fucking dominoes into like broken friendships, lost friends, fucking separation anxieties. And I'm in the middle of it, just flirting with everyone and making friends. And I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't know how it works, I swear, but it does. So anyway, Jesus. Yeah. And it's funny because it's usually me who is into some kind of drama when everyone around me is just calm and quiet and got fucking Zen monks or something, and they're just like they're doing their shit, they're in their lane, focused, and I'm like breaking in tears and going like, why, why does it hurt so much? But now it's the opposite, and I gotta tell you, I mean, I wish nobody had to hear it, but it's a relief that for once, I'm kind of okay. And I'm handling my shit pretty well, especially on the dating department, on the parasocial dating department. And that's why, I was inspired enough by it to be like, yeah, today I want to talk about my views on like the term, not the people, but the term femboy, and its misuse, you know, potential misuse, according to myself. By the way, just need to say that again. And so, that's a stream. Essentially, that's the fucking stream. Essentially, what else do you want me to say? That's it. It's literally just I just wanted to yap about FemBois and my views on the matter, and all that. And I mean, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong. I do like tall, lanky, feminine fellows. All right, with their little masks and their little like thigh highs and whatnot. Sure, okay, but like when it comes to semantics and really going deep into it and going like, let's have a real talk, right? Let's sit down and have a real talk. That's what I wanted now. At the end of the day, you can fuck whatever the fuck you want to fuck, um, but I can have opinions and tastes, and I can share them with you, and I did. That's it. That's a stream. And no fanboys were hurt during the filming of this stream. um, but yeah, it's yeah. It's a touchy subject. I feel exactly because it's gained traction and exactly because it's trending, and now everybody wants to be a femboy, and there's always like whenever something like that happens, there's always a starter kit, and the starter kit in this case is so easily obtainable more than in other cases where really what do you need to do? You just need a cute fucking COVID mask, and then also like I don't know, a choker which you can get for like $2 fucking, and then some thigh high socks which I know that it may sound like something sacred and like fucking unobtainable or something, but literally they're sold at every fucking underwear store, so it really isn't that hard to get the starter pack, and then just learn a Fortnite dance and do it on TikTok, and you're a femboy now, and that's it. Now you're a femboy. That's it. You're already 90% into your transition. Hint: you're not. You're just fetishizing yourself. Um, but yeah, you can do that. But I need to be clear on it because I have my own tastes and I have my own fucking criteria, and I'm just confused by like everyone and their mother using what are you, femboy, what's your gender, femboy, what's your sexuality, femboy, everything just femboy, but really what's your gender? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, but how should I address you? Oh, whatever you want. What do you mean whatever I want? Like, am I your creator? Like, what are you? Jesus Christ, just tell me what you want to be. I don't have anything against it. Just tell me what words to use. What the fuck? I need to address you somehow. It's frustrating. And it kind of makes you appear like a fucking moron sometimes. Jesus. At the sweetest of cases. But in the worst of cases, it just gives you this impression that the person just is fucking lost in space. They're in the space station just taking pictures of outer space. And they don't give a fuck, In a bad way, not in a good way. How are you supposed to allow yourself to feel any attraction to something that is so abstract that they might as well be, I don't know, just a fucking smear of paint on a canvas, which means nothing at all. It's just colors. Like, what the fuck? Jesus, how are you supposed to just? Yeah, I don't know. How do you want me to work with that? I can't work with that. It's nothing to do with that. Anyway, yeah, no, it's Gucci. It's whatever. Sorry, just stretching as well at the same time. All right, I told you I'm gonna show you my eyebrows. This is all me, baby. Look at this shit. It's good, isn't it? Look at them dance. Look at those babies dance. Huh? They're good. I like them. I like them personally. They're pretty okay. Look at this. Perfect lines, all done by hand, by these cute hands. It's nice, cute. Thank you. I still have to look down and to the left to see chat, which is annoying. So I can just like bring you here, but then you can all see like my chat. But there you are. That's my chat, and this is the closest I can get to the camera. So I won't. I'll just put it here. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. That's it. That's it for the day, and I'll see you on Monday. And I don't know. I think Monday might be Fear 3, unless Kaori is there, in which case we can play some Baldur's Gate. I'm a bit fearful for that campaign. But we'll see. I don't want to worry you with that reason, but I'm a bit fearful for it because it might just. Let me see. There we go. This is better. Now I'm at the center. So, damn, my boobs look big. Kinda. Let me fucking stop that. All right, cool boobs. They do in general. Yeah, that's like okay. So it's not a flex, but like that's what surprised me a bit when my every year I go for hair removal once, maybe once every 2 years now. It could be 0 times, but I'll take a chance if I have the ability to. And so the doctor who's there, because I don't go to any beauty clinics, I go to an actual clinic, and I'm like, hit me with the good stuff, right? The medical stuff, right? Anyway, all right. Shut up. Okay, so all right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay, stop. Cannot say that again. So, what was I saying? Right, and the doctor there was like, hey, because she's seen me like over the years, and my visits have been less and less frequent, and so she can tell the difference. And I was surprised because she said like, you've you've developed a nice body, especially your breasts and your ass, they're developing very nicely. And I'm like, oh, thank you. uh, what? I didn't say. Did I say all right? Oh my god, this is the end. This is the end of the stream. That's it. I'm shutting it down. I can't be allowed to continue. Wait, I need to get some water. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, she was telling me like, oh, you're coming along very nicely. I personally am quite satisfied. I was before, but I'm more satisfied now because it's different when you hear it from people. And also I didn't notice that they increased even more in size. I thought they were the same, but they're not. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm pretty happy that I didn't plateau in my development throughout my HRT. Because a lot of people actually, like in most cases, you will plateau in 3 years, but it's been more than that now, and I'm still going, or I should say, I'm still growing. Um, of course, I have a suspicion that I guess my fertility, to put that way, has been even further affected, and it might be reaching that point where it might be completely permanently affected. But uh, whatever. Honestly, that is so whatever. You still have the same feeling. It just feels strange. I guess you can get used to it though. It just feels strange that there's like you get the same like tensing of your body. I'm gonna put it that way, but nothing happens, and then that means that you can also continue, which that's nice, I guess. So yeah, because there's no like follow-up relaxation. In essence, I'm probably just developing into a fucking sex bot or something. And I can't wait to see the boundaries of my programming. But yeah, no, just yeah, whatever. But yeah, apparently I'm still growing, I guess. So enough about my boobs. But it was a nice subject, you know. Get it? Anyway, right. So I showed you my eyebrows, and we talked about femboys and my boobs. And I think that kind of concludes my stream for a Saturday, and it's been like almost 2 hours. And that's it. I don't know. I want to talk about other things as well, but I feel I'm nearing. I feel I'm nearing depletion of the amount of stamina I want to give to streaming on a Saturday, which is very little compared to like what I would normally invest from my energy, from my daily energy. But that's also the point, because it's Saturday, and I want a break. I did mention something about stopping streaming, right? So once again, I feel like I'm very close to like a break or make point where either I'm gonna bite down and just start streaming more regularly, or I might start seriously considering that it might not be for me, even though I'm comfy. I just noticed that there is like very little interest. I'm not gonna lie, which guys, and I say guys as if some kind of big streamer or something, going like, "Hey guys," talking about my billion of views. But no, like to whoever of you, you 50 people or something on average, or you 20 people on average, I guess, who are watching me. You're fucking amazing. Thank you for that. Honestly, it gives me an experience that I didn't think I could have. Like 50, 20 viewers. Holy shit, that's like pretty good for me, honestly. But at the same time, and not to belittle you or your time spent watching me, I guess. But it does feel like it just doesn't pay off in any way other than these little therapy sessions like the one today, and the Dear Diary little sessions, and the gossip sessions where I just check a video and all that. But that is something that happens so infrequently, where I feel like you wouldn't miss it if it didn't happen. And then also when I post stuff on YouTube, it doesn't really pay off at all. I don't think, like, nobody fucking watches my stuff. So at that point, it's like, yeah, sure, I like doing it, but I'm not motivated to do it anymore, because like there's no motivation for it, zero. And I'm not saying like I want to make money and all that. Yeah, it would be nice to be making money out of this, but it's not about that. But also, yeah, that's true. I just like not making any money at all, almost. So there's two like alternatives here, and one of which is like I stop, because honestly it's just not gonna change anything at this point. I just didn't make. You know what? Sometimes you just don't manage to make a difference, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can just chill and allocate your resources and your energy and your time into something else that does make a difference for you. You know. And the thing is, I still like it. I still like the sensation of streaming. I still like the feeling of like firing up a stream and like talking and all that, and sometimes turning on my camera and like whatever. It's like it's very chill. It's fine. Also, if you can hear that dog, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. Like it's going crazy. That thing is fucking going crazy. Street sounds. Can't help it. Not at least not until I find why NVIDIA Broadcast over here is fucking up my stream. But I'm just not in the mood to find out how to fix it. It just suddenly broke. That's all. It just suddenly broke. Nothing to do with settings. I looked, and I have to keep it disabled, which means you can listen to everything that happens in the street and like to everywhere. So sorry for that, including that dog, obviously. If you can hear it. And what was I saying? So that's one alternative. So just like letting go, gently letting go, because it just doesn't mean anything to anyone other than me like enjoying it. But you know what? I can just stream to a friend, and that's gonna be the same. I'm sorry. As much as I love you guys, all 20 of you. On average. And well, there's the other alternative where I sacrifice more of my personal time, right? Which I'm not quite sure how I feel about that at the moment. And just streaming like every day and keeping it at like 2 to 3 hours every day, just like maybe play a game now and then. Like if I'm gonna go for that, there's not gonna be any structure. I gotta warn you right now. If I'm going for that, there's not gonna be any structure. I might just stream 1 hour and just talk about whatever the fuck bothers me in the moment or whatever the fuck makes me happy in the moment. And maybe then the next time I'll just decide to play a game and then never touch it again. It's just not gonna have a structure. Not a huge fan of the idea. Maybe there can be some middle ground. I mean, between having no structure but streaming, and between that and having some semblance of a structure where I don't just abandon games after 1 hour, but I do finish them. But also not following a strict schedule and still streaming all day. There can be a middle ground there. But the two actual options is either stopping or that. And do I want to do that? I'm thinking if I'm about to do that, I would need to take it like very seriously. I would have to put my best e-girl kind of foot forward. Maybe just invest in it a little bit. Maybe commission some channel art, maybe commission something. I don't fucking know. I'm pretty sure I don't need a VR avatar or anything. I got my own fucking face, and that's sweet enough. And fuck you if you don't think so. You're obviously in the wrong place, and you obviously are wrong. And I have my attitude, which, like, as you can see from what I just said, is just amazing attitude. And you're also wrong if you don't agree with that. But you know what I mean. I don't think I need to V-stream or anything, honestly, or whatever. And I'm actually okay with my voice at this point. I'm used to my voice, and you're probably used to my voice, big deep, being trans myself. So that's fine. But I would need to invest. Like, I would need a new PC, that's for sure. Nudge, nudge. And I would probably need like a better place to stay where I can make it look cool for you guys, so you can see like the background, and I feel more comfortable turning my camera on and like not showing you a boring ass background, which is like just my bed. So we'll see about that. I don't know. I feel like if I am gonna make that move, I might as well go full blown streamer. you know, and really try. Invest money getting the latest games and, you know, have the PC to play them at maximum settings and blah 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 blah. You get it, you get the idea. So yeah, and it's not as simple as it likes because as it sounds, because such a move would also be made so that I can feel comfortable that I can just press a button and stream without having to worry about dogs outside, sound quality, or this or that. Like, you know, just literally fucking address every issue, upgrade everything, that kind of thing. So it's a big move. It's not like just deciding to stream more. Honestly, it's not just deciding to stream more from one day to the next. That's why I'm at this weird impasse where I can't really choose right now. I can't really choose. So for the foreseeable future, or until I decide, until I wake up and say, that's it, that's what I'm doing, maybe I'll just go as I'm going, you know? And we'll see what happens. But one thing is for certain, I cannot go on indefinitely like that. Because I feel like it's going nowhere. You know, as dramatic as it sounds, like it practically isn't going anywhere. Which is not like I'm not crying to you. I just like to update you sometimes. I mean, you don't pay me, but like you're my customers in a way, right? I'm your slut in this case, right? I have to fucking inform you how business is going, right? And this is how business is going, and there's nobody else to handle it but me. So we'll see. Honestly, we'll see. That's all I can say. We won't see far down the line. That's for sure. I'm probably gonna make a decision about it in the next couple of weeks. That's how I feel like. Maybe week even, not even a couple of weeks. Uh, if I do decide to stop streaming, I'm not gonna scrap my channel. I'm not gonna scrap my YouTube. I'm gonna leave them where they are, just in case I want to pick up at one point. And it's going to be quite unceremoniously. There's not gonna be a closing stream. I'm just like gonna post it on my status or something here on Twitch and on YouTube. I'll be like, hey guys, been a ride, thanks, see ya. Because I don't like these long drawn like, oh, my last stream. Because what if it's not my last stream? You know, what if I come back after 2 years? So it's gonna be like smooth, you know, if I am to do that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Now, if I decide that I want to go on, as I said, then I can't really make any serious moves until I have like moved out of my place and got a new PC. So in that case, yeah, format's gonna stay the same, but I will change it and I will plan it. I will plan the change. It's gonna give me enough time to plan the change and plan what I want about it and all that. So that's positive about it, you know, the fact that it won't happen immediately because I just don't have the resources to do it immediately. Partly because also it doesn't pay off. And again, I'm not nudging. I'm not even telling you to give me money. It's like literally just that's the situation. That's it. That's how it is, you know. And yeah, my house situation is like this. We're waiting to see if under the relatively new system and laws in place about owning property, I am legally allowed to sell or rent my apartment, and we're trying to negotiate essentially the legality of it by arguing, you know, plot size and square meters and all that, and it's a fucking nightmare that has been going on for like 2 or 3 years because I hit exactly the moment when the system fucking changed. Plus, my mother's like meddling and on purpose horrible, you know, planning uh, in her efforts to just not allow me to fucking do anything in my life. because he's a full-blown fucking narcissist. Always will be. Doesn't matter. I could hit 80 as long as he's alive. She's going to try to always sabotage things, to always control things. It's not an age thing. It's just a fucking pathological thing for her. But we had to deal with a lot of that, with a lot of sabotage there. Not to mention the initial, of course, lies, which, you know, if she just had done what she was told when this house was built by the person who built it for me, none of this would be happening now. But again, narcissists and their little sabotage and their little schemes to keep everyone under control and powerless. You know it, I know it. Fuck that shit. I hope you never go through it. That's the case with the house, so that's why I haven't been able to move out, even though I've been fucking literally advertising at this point about it like for years. But yeah, it's coming to a close as well, and you know, if that also happens, that would be awesome. And it will open up a lot of opportunities for me to find a place where I can happily stream away into the sunset. You know, if I decide to go streaming, and I will be able to kind of create my own little stream room, you know, or gaming room or whatever, perhaps, you know. With some modesty, of course, because I'm not exactly Papa's, you know, little girl or something, you know. I'm not exactly living in a gilded cage, though it might appear so, and to be fair, for a while it was so when I was younger, but those days are long gone, and now it's more the opposite. I'm literally trapped in ice here. No development, no nothing. It's just stale. Anyway, that's like a bit of a heavy subject and not what I wanted to discuss today, but whatever. Now you have a clear image, and along with not having to repeat myself about how I feel about femboys as a term and like its misappropriation potentially, and what I feel like the term refers to. Now you also have a clear image of my plans as a streamer, so to speak, and my general plans for life, I guess. Whatever good that does you. But at least it gives you a clear image, as I said, of like what's happening and what kind of situation I'm in. Which again, not to say that you should do something about it. I am not your responsibility. You should only subscribe to me or pay me in any way just because you enjoy chilling with me on my streams. You know, if you do, that's the only thing that should concern you. The rest is just us having a conversation, or more accurately, me having a fucking monologue. So I'm gonna leave you now, and I'll see you on Monday. And let's play some Fear 3. See if that holds up, right? Okay, stay sexy. See you Monday. Bye bye. Have an amazing Saturday, by the way. And thanks for keeping me company, and thanks for watching. I mean it. It means a lot to me. Alright. Bye bye. Kisses.